Spin again, spin again, spin again. Okay, so basically, everybody's been asking me how I got so good at Snake. And basically, like, I think I got like the world record. I got to like 50 before. It's like a world record and stuff. So basically, people have been wondering how I'm able to be so good at Snake, at Google Snake. People stop me in public, ask me if I took any Snake classes, if I AP Snake, if I had a snake mentor, uh, if if I made the game, stuff like that. People just don't believe that. People don't believe that someone can be this good at the game, basically. But they're mistaken. You'll see that in my highlights in my Snake mixtape. So when people ask how I got so good at Snake, usually what they don't get is that it's about being a snake. Like, you gotta see this snake on your screen. You gotta see him. And then when you gotta like be him, basically. So like, obviously, like, you look at him, he wants these cherry things. You gotta really become him. That's the only way. That's the only way you're gonna be good at the game. Spider-Man 2 just dropped, basically. And so one of the characters in Spider-Man 2 is called Spider-Man. His real name is Peter Parker, basically. And so Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, he's really good at his job. His job is being a superhero. Okay. His job is being a superhero. And he's pretty good at it. I'm playing the game right now. He's pretty good. So, and what you'll notice if you're playing Spider-Man is that he really attempts to become the spider. That's something you'll notice if you play the game, or if you watch. He's got some movies too. If you watch some of the movies, you'll notice that too. I mean, he's got webs. He has a spider on his chest, on his suit. He sticks to walls like spiders do. That's something that relates to how you gotta play Snake. That relates that relates to how you have to play this game. Because if you don't let yourself become the Snake, if you don't put yourself in the mindset, the mind frame of the Snake, then you won't be successful. And that's just the bottom line. And so that's when people ask how I got so good at the game, that's really the main thing I tell them. Just just be the Snake. That's like step one. Step two, you gotta see these little apples or cherries. Now, snakes don't eat fruit. They don't have teeth, or they don't have tongues, one of those two. So they can't eat fruit. Snakes eat like bugs. They eat people. What else do snakes eat? They eat birds. They eat stuff like that. So so this snake doesn't actually eat the apples. That's the thing. So when you're becoming this, if you're a snake, you're not going to want to eat apples. That's what people miss. So the snake, if this was a real snake, the snake wouldn't want to be eating these apples. And that's like, if you're going to become a snake, you're not going to want to eat apples. And that's going to mess you up when you're trying to be good at the game. Okay. So you gotta be the snake, but you gotta also be you gotta be a human too. Like, in everything you do, you gotta be human. You gotta be true to yourself. And gotta like okay, so you gotta so you see right there um what happened there. People ask, how do you if you run into yourself, what causes that when you run into yourself when you're playing Snake? Basically, it's that's there's levels to being a snake. There's levels to inner snake, outer snake, middle snake. Just like in Spider-Man 2 that I'm playing right now on my PS5, PlayStation 5. There's you got Spider-Man Peter Parker, you got Spider-Man Miles Morales. There's levels to being a Spider-Man. That's really the same with Snake. There's levels to being a snake. There's you don't want to be too much of a snake. But you also don't want to be too little of a snake. It's like a mix. A snake is gonna run into itself because a snake can run into itself. Because in real life, if a snake runs into itself, it's not gonna explode. It's not gonna explode, bro. It's not gonna. It's just not gonna. It's gonna go over itself. It's gonna roll over itself. So you wanna if you're becoming a snake, that's a thing you're gonna set in your mind frame, and that's gonna become part of your mental psyche. You're gonna not be too scared to run into yourself, because if you become a snake, you'll have no reason to care. That's the problem. So basically, you gotta there's a middle ground. You gotta be a snake, but also you gotta be a human, which I was saying earlier. It goes back to Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, PlayStation 5, PS5. Spider-Man, you look at Peter Parker, you look at Spider-Man, you look at Miles Morales. Who else is Spider-Man? The other one. They're Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Human. Spider-Man. Spider-Human. They're a mixture of the two. And that's, I think, a big part of their success. They find a balance between the two. They find a balance between the two. The two equilibriums. They find a balance and they work that balance. And that's really what it comes down to when you're playing Snake. You gotta find your equilibrium, and you gotta work it. Everyone has a different equilibrium. That's physics 101. That's chemistry. Okay, so my mic had cut out basically. I was talking about equilibrium. Yeah, you just gotta have your equilibrium between you as a snake and you as a human. Me personally, I'm around 77-23 range, maybe 75-25 if you were to estimate it, but obviously everyone's gonna be different. You see what my success, what my equilibrium has gotten me. What has got me, you see up there my high score, 610 points. I believe that's a world record. I could be mistaken, but the point is, you see that score, 610. If you watch this video to the end, and you paid attention to all the tips I gave you, you could probably get maybe 5,000. As they say, the student always surpasses the teacher. So in Kung Fu Panda 2, where they were talking about what did they say in Kung Fu? They said something yesterday is a gift, tomorrow is the future, today is a gift. And it's called the present. That's really that's what it boils down to. Today is a gift, okay? just gift it up, and it's about work ethic when it comes to Snake. Like, do you have the work ethic to chase these apples? That's like what it all boils down to. Do you have the work ethic? If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But you can get it if you don't got it. Just like Spider-Man. Again, Spider-Man 2, PS5, PlayStation 5. I've been playing it lately. Pretty good game. He didn't have the work ethic at first. They don't show this in the game, but basically, his uncle died because, bro, he was like, bro, he could have stopped it, but then he remembered. His uncle was like, with great power comes great responsibility, bro. And that was huge. That really turned him from a man to a Spider-Man. And that's what can turn you from a guy or girl that plays Snake to like a snake to like an actual one that's in the game and eating the apples. Basically, that's what I've been saying. Basically, you know. But yeah.